Hey folks, Sheila here from Design Files. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to master perspective for your realistic room mockups. So if you've ever struggled to get the perspective right when you're adding artwork or furniture or anything like that to the side walls, then keep watching because I'm going to show you some really good tips and an excellent tool that you can use that will dramatically speed up the process and help make sure that you nail the perspective every single time. So let's go ahead, we're going to dive right in and get started. Now, the first thing that you do need to know is that the success of the distorted item on the side wall, it really comes down to the original image that you're trying to distort. So what do I mean by that? Well, if I took this image right here, I could remove the background and I could try to distort this 1,000 different ways and it's never going to look good. The reason it's not going to look good is because there's no depth to this item. I can't see a portion of the top or a portion of the side. So if I try to distort this, it's just going to look paper thin and it'll look bad. So what you want to keep an eye out for are images like this, where you can see a bit of the top, you can see a bit of the side, or even some of the back legs, anything that shows a little bit of depth, because you're going to need that in order for this to look more realistic after you've distorted it. So I guess the key thing that you want to keep in mind is if this is in fact the dresser that you wanted, but the vendor where you sourced this item from doesn't have any additional product images, some things that you could try would be to do a Google image search and see if this product is carried by any other vendors, and if they have additional product images where it's shot on an angle, you're going to want to grab the ones that are shot slightly on an angle. You could also try the Google Lens search, and then that would also find any other vendors that carry this, or it will also pull up maybe similar looking items where you might find something that has a similar look, but again, maybe it's shot a little bit on an angle and it's going to work better in your design to help give your client an idea of what everything is going to look like in the actual space. So those are a couple things that you might want to keep in mind. Now, I'm going to be trying to distort this image, so we'll delete this one, we're going to re-add it. And before I go ahead and start distorting this item, the next thing that I actually want to do here is I want to go into the Visual Elements library and I'm going to bring in my perspective grid. This perspective grid is what's going to help make sure that anytime you're distorting items, it's going to be 100% accurate. So I'm going to zoom out here because you can see that I've already got this perspective grid set up for this design. I'm just going to bring it all the way to the front. You can see what it looks like. What you want to do is you're going to drag this perspective grid out, you're going to scale it up, make sure you scale beyond the edges of your room image, and then what you want to do is you're just going to move it around until you basically have these grid lines working with the actual angle of the walls of the space. Okay, so just shift it around until you feel like you've got it lined up nicely. It does not have to be perfect like this. That was just fluke. You can see over here that it's not perfectly lined up where the wall and the ceiling meet. So just shift it around until you get it roughly in place. And then what you want to do is you're going to push it all the way to the back layer. And then you're going to bring it forward one layer so that it is in front of the room image, but it's behind all the furniture within the space, all the decor. Then you're going to lock it down because you don't want this thing moving on you when you're trying to edit your design. So now that we've got that in place, I'm just going to zoom in. And when I'm zooming in and just kind of shifting my screen around, if you're wondering how I'm doing that, I'm holding down the spacebar on my keyboard, and then I'm clicking and holding down with the left button on my mouse so that I can drag the screen around and just place it where I want it to be. Now I'm going to go into my library. I'm going to drag out this image right here. First thing we're going to do is we're going to clean up the image. So we'll use the background removal tool. We're going to use the magic remover, and we're just going to get rid of that background, and then we'll hit save. So now I've got a nice clean image that I can work with. I'm going to delete the original, and here's how we're going to do this. I'm going to take this item and we're just going to scale it down a little bit and place it roughly where you want it to go. So let's say that I want this to be about here. That'll do. Actually, let's bring it down a little bit. I don't want it that high. Yeah, let's do something like this. Okay, so I'm going to place it roughly here. Now, what I want to do is I could leave this, right? Because I mean, ultimately, if I left this hanging outside of the edge of the canvas, when I save this design, the view that my client's going to see, they're only going to see whatever's within the canvas edges. So this would be cut off to them. They wouldn't see it. But I'm a bit of a fusspot and I like things to look really like cleaned up. So this is more of a snapshot of the actual space. So I'm just going to cut this off. So what I'll do here is I'm going to use the crop tool, and I'm just going to slide this in until it lines up with the edge of the room image. And we're going to cut that off. And now that I've done that, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use the distort tool, and I'm going to start distorting this item. Now, the key thing that you want to keep in mind here is you want to keep your vertical lines 100% vertical, and you're really only distorting the horizontal lines. So I'm going to pull on this corner here, and I'm just going to pull it down until I feel like I've got this working along the same angle of the overall perspective grid. So that's pretty good right there. And then this one, this could probably come up just a little bit right here. And I think that's pretty good actually. So I'm going to leave that as is. I'm going to select off of this. We're going to zoom out. I'll bring this out a little bit, and let's go ahead. We're going to click on that. We'll double click on the perspective grid. That's what you call it. And then I'm going to unlock this so that I can push this layer back so we can get a nice clean image that we're going to look at. And there you go. You can see how this perspective is working nicely with the art piece above. It's working nice with the floor down here. My vertical lines are still like 100% vertical, but we've got a really nice distorted item that feels realistically like it's sitting against the side wall. So that's why this perspective grid is going to be your new best friend, because it really just makes it so quick and easy for you to follow along with those grid lines. It works really well if you're trying to set up curtains for the windows or curtain rods, any art pieces, any large furniture pieces. It also works really, really well if you're trying to distort rugs for the floor. And then you can use those perspective grid lines as your guide as well, so that you make sure that everything is going along the correct perspective. So the next realistic room mock-up that you are creating within Design Files, do not forget to first jump directly into the visual elements library, grab this perspective grid, layer it on top of your room image, and then you can start adding in all of your product and distorting items, knowing that you have that guide in place. And it's just going to make it so quick and easy for you to get that perspective accurate every single time. If you do have any questions at all about anything that I've discussed in this video, then please feel free to reach out to us on the live chat. We're always happy to help. Thanks for watching.